survived the brutality of the Hives, the ravages of the Ash Wastes. Now it's time to bear witness to the horrors of the Underhells. Hi, I'm Underhiver. Games Workshop were kind enough to send me a copy of Necromunda Hive Secundus, so let's have a look. Necromunda Hive Secundus is the latest box game from Games Workshop set in the Necromunda system. This box moves the setting to the titular Hive Secundus, Necromunda's answer to the island of Dr. Moreau via David Cronenberg, with a dash of Lovecraft. A ruined hive bombarded from orbit, sealed and isolated for sins against the Emperor, and just generally doing all of the naughty shit they were told not to. A geographical version of that uncle everyone pretends doesn't exist. Secundus was once a seat of learning and culture, but as is often the case, some brain box forgot that just because you can do something, that doesn't mean you should. And boom, just like that, Genestealers. Mutant Genestealers. Well, the Imperial House will overlook so much stuff for a price, but apparently that doesn't include creating a unique mutant strain of Xenos. Things got out of hand, the Hive got smashed in quarantine, and that was the end of that. Except it never is. This being Necromunda, there's always someone arrogant, greedy, or just plain stupid enough to press the big red button just to see what it does. So, now we have incursion gangs who will brave entry into this nightmarish ruin for treasure and glory. That's what this box and setting is all about. So what's in the box? Okay, you're going to get a 175-page rulebook, that's 27 pages of lore, 74 pages of core rules, which we've seen before, 46 pages of campaign, new units, and then the rest covers skills, weapon traits, effects, round summary, and index. You're going to get 88 cards, the territory card, loot cards, fighter cards, and the Malstrain Forces deck. You get your Incursion gang, which is 2 Orrus Spyrers, 8 Tek Hunters, 1 Caryatid Prime, and your Malstrain Forces, comprising of 6 Malstrain Genestealers, 2 Brute Scum, and 4 Termites. You're going to get 2 reference sheets, a sheet of tokens, 2 paper tiles, double-sided, a range ruler, templates, 16 dice, and plastic doors. Hive Secundus is a standalone 2-player game that functions as a dungeon crawler using the core rules from the Necromunda system. One player controls a Secundan incursion gang, the second is the arbitrator and manages the narrative, records progression and controls the Malstrain Forces, so is essentially a dungeon master. Incursion gangs are led by a Spyrer, who is essentially the 40k version of a trophy hunter who wants to mount Xenos heads on the wall to gain notoriety, renown and power through racking up an impressive kill count. They're accompanied in this instance by Saar Tek Hunters, a specialist ganger who risks all for precious Archeo loot. So what is an incursion gang? Essentially any house gang led by a Spyrer. In this box specifically, it's an Orrus leader accompanied by Tek Hunters. The book talks about other houses, but you only get the rules for what's in the box, so we'll just have a look at those. You get 1,225 creds to put together your incursion gang from the box. There's several build options available, but you are taking an Orrus as your leader, and the rest of your creds are going on Tek Hunters. The Orrus Spyrer is a 350 cred close combat monster, built for melee with some solid range support options. They have a tasty 4+ armor save, 6+ field save as standard, and for an extra 50 creds you can switch out the power talons, which strength 4, -3 AP, damage 1 and paired, for the more infamous power fists, strength 5, -1 AP, damage 2 paired and power. Either option has built-in sidearm weapons, including the bolt launchers as standard, which are an 8 to 20 inch range, strength 4, -1 AP, damage 1 with rapid fire 1 weapon. And you can switch them for the Volkite discharges, which are 5 to 10 inches range, strength 5, damage 1 with the new trait Deflagrate, which means that any damage inflicted by a hit from this weapon incurs an auto hit for free, and you can switch those out for no extra credit cost. Or alternatively, you could add 2 disintegration matrix guns, which are a 3 to 12 inch range, strength 5, -2 AP, damage 2 with sever for 60 creds. Now that does come with scarce and unstable, so use at your own risk. And did I mention these are all sidearms, so they're all available to use in close combat. The Orrus begins the game with movement 5, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 plus initiative, and 2 attacks. Impressive, but the suit evolution mechanic means that for every 4 kills, roll on a d6 table. If you get a 1 to 4, he's improving weapon skill, ballistic skill, movement, or their armor save. If you roll a 5 or 6, then you're choosing an upgrade to one of the already pretty nasty weapons, either increasing damage, AP, removing negative traits, or adding new nastier ones. So out of the gate, they're good. A few kills and they're monstrous. They have some other interesting rules. They gain 2 ready markers, meaning 2 full activations with no restrictions as to when in the round you can use them. This obviously opens up some really interesting tactics for them. Although classed as the leader to represent the arrogance of the headstrong noble, they don't have group activation and they don't benefit from it either. They also don't give a shit if anyone gets killed or shot, so they don't need to bottle check. They only get pinned if they lose a wound or gain a flesh wound. So with toughness 4, a 4 plus armor save and a 6 plus field save as standard, it's going to be difficult to stop this juggernaut from ploughing through the board. If and when they do get injured, they have a unique glitch chart to represent the damage to the rig. This replaces the serious injury chart and will reduce stats, affect weapons, put them out temporarily, or potentially even kill them. However, remember that evolution mechanic? Well, if they have a glitch, or you rack up some glitches, get 4 kills, and instead of evolving the suit, you can clear all current glitches, except being dead. Even suspicious off-world tech seems unable to do that yet. So you've spent at least 350 creds on a standard Orrus. Now you need to pick your Tek Hunters. These new specialists are 75 creds each, and they all have exactly the same stat line, which is movement 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 5+, and 1 attack. They each have one of 4 archetypes to pick from. You can only take 2 of each subtype, so choose carefully. Okay, so the Augur Tech can perform the Find Hidden Tech post-battle action, which means that any data crystals that you've gathered during the battles, you can turn into Archeo-Loot to support you in your quest going forward. The Biotechnist can perform the medical treatment post-battle action, which is essentially a free rogue dock trip. You still roll on the chart, you still have all of the available options, but it's for free. The Gun Tech can perform the Fabricate Weapon post-battle action, which is an intelligence check. If they pass the intelligence check, you can fabricate any weapon from their starting list up to 30 credits. The Technomat can perform the Fabricate Wargear post-battle action, and again, rolling against their intelligence, they can create grenades or armor up to 30 credits. These aren't just cool gimmicks. These are essential functions, as within this campaign, there's no rogue dock or trading post. The Underhells Campaign offers no reinforcements and no way to buy new gear. Each subtype has some unique gear or weaponry, some of which is entirely new to the game. The Augur Tech has the Vox Array, which grants the Group Activation 1, which is useful as none of the Tek Hunters have this ability as standard. They also have the very interesting Augur Specs, which prevents an enemy fighter deploying or infiltrating within 12 inches of the player. This provides some really interesting bodyguard tactics. The Gun Tech has access to Refraction Cloaks, which offers a -1 to hit or a -2 if the player hasn't moved in their previous activation. Now they obviously have access to Long Las at creation, which is something lacking from a standard Van Saar gang. The Technomat has access to a new weapon, a new combi weapon, the Flamer Mancatcher, rocking in at 160 credits. It's a standard Flamer profile with the addition of the unstable trait, plus a close combat entangle weapon. The Biotechnist has the Servo Medicae, which allows you to perform Medicaid, a basic action on a seriously injured fighter within 1 inch that gives them an immediate recovery roll. If they then roll seriously injured again, they will have to make another recovery roll at the end of the round. The Tek Hunters have their own equipment list, with some equipment and weapons tied to the above subtypes. Now, as cool as these sound, I start to get really interested when you consider replacing a specialist in a different campaign type with one of these new Tek Hunters. A Vansar medic who can be both combat medic and free rogue dog. A fast sniper with moving cover and the ability to fabricate weapons post-battle. Or a Mandalorian armourer who can give out mesh or grenades. Even the Augur Tech, whose ability is useless outside of the Underhells campaign, can still perform a solid bodyguard role against Nakgulls, giving that extra 6-inch protection against being charged by Serpent Fangs. None of these are essential or OP, and I'm going to break the game, but the option and variety is cool. The Tek Hunters are essentially gang fighters with the specialist role. So not only is there nothing explicitly saying they can't be taken into a standard Vansar gang, they are written to be just that. As a kit basher, the new bodies and accessories are very welcome too. He is an early play around with a leader champ build that I did using a melter and the Technomat Carapace body armour. The Underhells campaign is essentially a territory grab that represents the journey to the Blood Throne. The Orrus wants as many kills as possible, while the Tek Hunters want to gather as many data crystals as they can, and these are exchanged for powerful Archeo loot to aid them in their journey. The Underhells is a scary place, and Tek Hunters who activate more than 6 inches from another Tek Hunter must pass a nerve check or they bottle. And there's always 6-inch visibility, meaning it's tense close combat fighting in a huddle for proper claustrophobic action. The Malstrain and the Spyrer aren't affected by either of these rules, so it's just the shooty boys who should probably hold hands and invest in photolumens to see what horrors lurk in the shadows. About those horrors. The Arbitrator builds the Malstrain Forces using Malstrain points dictated by one of the 7 scenarios. They're still subject to the selection rules. Any out-of-action fighter can come back as reinforcements using a shuffled deck of fighter cards, which randomizes things. Malstrain can't gain experience and always pass ammo and bottle checks. The forces of the Malstrain are made up predominantly by the Brood Scum, Malstrain-infected Hive Scum, who are essentially standard Hive Scum with funny-looking faces and complexions. Each one costs 1 Malstrain point to field and can take 40 creds of equipment from a basic list. The real threat, of course, is the new Genestealer variant. The Malstrain Genestealer is where stuff gets really nasty. Costing 3 Malstrain points, these malformed monsters are a genuine threat at movement 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 6, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 plus initiative, and 3 attacks. That's a pretty impressive, fast, tough opponent with strength 5, minus 1 AP, damage 2 claws with rending, so bump that to damage 3 on a roll of a 6, and a bite with a minus 2 AP and toxin. It gets worse. Every Genestealer comes with biological mesh armor and a bio booster. They also have built-in dodge, evade, nerves of steel and rain of blows skills, so they're hard to hit, hard to wound, and they treat the fight action as simple so they can benefit from 6 attacks in a round. For the first couple of levels you'll only be facing one of these, but this is going to increase the deeper into Secundus you go, and one of them is probably enough for a total party kill, so good luck with that. To round out the numbers, you get access to an exotic pet in the Tyramite. just a pain in the arse whose bite causes radphage because you weren't already having a bad enough day. As I said at the beginning, this is a standalone game. You don't need anything extra except glue and clippers to play. It's gorgeously presented. The rulebooks come in redacted dossier folders. There's an actual card holder, and there's even an envelope for the prettiest dice that Necromunda has ever seen. Just look at those spearmint beauties. The only real letdown here are the paper mats, which are perfunctory and honestly do the job for a game in a box, but we all know how Necromunda should be played. The minis are great, especially the Tek Hunters and Spyrers. I'll be adding the Tek Hunter bodies into my Saar gang for some variation, and I'm looking forward to the other Spyrers being released so I can build a hunting party. So, if you want early access to these plastic kits and you want a new way to play Necromunda, then I'd say you'll probably be very happy with this. For a more traditional experience, I guess we're going to have to see what the new book delivers, because that seems to promise a way to expand the Underhells campaign into a more recognisable Necromunda experience. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this or find it interesting and or informative, then please feel free to leave a like, subscribe, etc. The more astute of you may have noticed that I have somewhat less of a presence on social media at the moment. I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus, having a detox, if you want to use that term. I find it had become a little bit of a distraction and not the greatest for my mental health. It's a personal choice, it's one that I've made willingly. I'm in a pretty good place and I didn't want anything to kind of upset that. If you do need to get hold of me, you can obviously contact me through the Some City Radio email. You can contact me on here, or you can contact me on the Some City Radio Facebook group or the Some City Radio Discord. I will be back on Instagram at some point. Just kind of, taking a little time off. If you want a more in-depth review of Hive Secundus, then me and my podcaster partner, Hive Scum Steve, have done a more in-depth review. That episode will be released now. I'll put a link in the description below. But until next time, I'll see you in the Underhells.